Alrighty, guys. So we should be live. Whatever's audio is on. Can you guys lower that? So we should be live. We've never used what's this thing called StreamYard. So I'm not really sure if we're live. But it says that we're live. And I just looked. So yeah, we're live. Alrighty, guys. So welcome to a podcast that this should be several podcasts, but one of them is going to be called is it the Prime Game or Prime Game? Where are we going with?
Whatever. I think the Prime Game sounds
The
good.
right? Okay, so you guys heard it here. We're going to call it the Prime Game. Okay. So with that said, guys, what do you guys think we're going to be talking about on our podcast? Like, what should people be expecting from us?
I think this podcast is just going to bring a bunch of different, creative entrepreneurs, right? Each in their own kind of industry. So we're going to bring you guys a lot of game, hint, on any kind of industry. So the real estate industry, the investing industry, the construction industry, even including just the personal, day in the life, human being kind of stuff. So we're all the same, and I'm pretty sure we can relate, with you guys watching and anybody else got.
And we're gonna do something in Spanish too. Para que no se me queden mi gente atrás. Va a ser un poquitico complicado hasta que no tengamos el audio bien set up, ya, porque eso de estar mute en mute va a ser un big headache. Pero bueno, como decía Noel, vamos a estar hablando de todo tipo de temas, pero más concentrados en lo que es el emprendimiento. So, vamos a ayudarlos a ustedes en how to become an investor, how to become a real estate agent, how to become, anything that you want that you can think. So, we're going to help you out through the process. Vamos a tratar de estar ahí siempre para poder traerle temas a ustedes actualizados sobre lo que está aconteciendo, sobre temas económicos en general, pero más bien queremos enfocarnos, como dice Noel, en la parte del emprendimiento, porque todos somos jóvenes y queremos ayudar a más jóvenes como nosotros a que tengan una buena vida en el futuro.
What's up, Johan? What you got for us, Johan?
So this is going to be a good opportunity to be networking with all of you guys as well. We have a pretty good setup team right here. Noel's a construction. Cabestani's a broker. Me and Yadi, we do pretty much the same thing with acquisition, dispositions, and we all pretty much share the same thing. So networking with future buyers, you guys are going to be future buyers. You guys are going to be potentially future sellers as well. And overall, working with everyone is going to be fantastic.
Yes, I agree. So, guys, for me, what I would love if we do the Prime Game podcast, because we're doing one for several of our other businesses. So maybe the Prime Game podcast is something that we can all get on pretty frequently. And what I would like for it to be is so Ariam kind of explained why he wanted to name it the game. I had my own reasonings for why naming it the game. So it's really, this world that we live in really is a game, right? And if you play it right, if you play it strategically, if you play it with purpose, like, has anybody ever played Grand Theft Auto here?
Yeah.
Okay, so Grand Theft Auto is cool. Like, right, you start playing the game, everything loads. And if you just want to have fun and you're running around and doing this and doing that, like, the game doesn't tell you shit. Go ahead and do that, right? But you're not working out. Your bank. You guys remember? I haven't played Grand Theft Auto in quite some years, guys. But the one before, I don't remember what it was called, but the one where you would actually go and you would work out and stuff like that. The guy started building muscles and stuff like that. So I wanted to call it the game because I feel like here we're learning a lot of information that it's obvious. Like, it's not that I don't want it, but it's obvious that the world out there, and we can only really talk about America, but that 90% of America should be tuning into or listening to or learning a little bit about, right? Like, how much information haven't we learned this year that it's literally wealth changing, right? So it's like we're learning all of these things. Do we just keep it to ourselves, or do we come on here and kind of talk about it? And in many cases, we know a little bit about it, or we know a lot about it, or sometimes we don't know shit about it. But then that's kind of what's cool. We're here talking about it, finding new things, talking about new things. And I agree with Johan. I mean, everybody in this room has the same goals. We're all trying to be, I would say, wealthy, but the goal is not to be wealthy, right? The goal is, what do we do with our wealth, right? Nobody here just wants to make a few bucks and go to the Bahamas and retire. I don't think we need that much money to do that. Who were we talking about the other day that you can go and retire at, what was it, Ecuador? No, it wasn't Ecuador. What was the name of the place, guys? El Salvador. Was it Salvador? No, Costa Rica. It was Costa Rica, right? You can literally, guys, we're all here. Besides Ariel, we're all less than 30. Meaning, so, guys, we are less than 30 years old, right? If we hustle, like if this was really our goal, if we were to hustle our butts away, right? We can purchase, let's say, in the next 10 years, right? I'll be 37 in the next 10 years. I can probably easily own, in my experience, maybe not for everybody out there, but if that was your goal, you can buy 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 properties and be like, deuces, I'm out. I'm living in Costa Rica now, and I'm living the hell of a life, right? I'm coming to the States maybe once a month, once a year, one every 6 months, whatever the case is. But I'm retired. I'm retired at 37. But that's not really what the goal is, at least for me, right? So the goal for me is to make money, and then what do I do with that money? So do we help families? Do we help other countries, right? Do we go build a school in Africa? Maybe why Africa, right? I don't know why I said Africa, but maybe we go build a school in Cuba. Why not? So it's really what we can do with that wealth. That would be really cool with that. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it, and why I would like to call it the game, because this truly is a game. Right?
Okay.
The whole tax system is a game.
Let me tell you something before you continue. And I want to tell you that the 30s are the new 20s. Okay? So just keep that in mind. The next time you call me old man.
Well, I didn't call you old. I just said you were in your
Oh, you call me old, bro. I get that. Like, you call me old. But no, you're right, bro. You're right. So I think people doesn't realize yet the potential they have and how much money they really need. If everything is about money, how much money they need to retire. So let's say you have a good 30 years after you finish work, right? So how much do you need a month to say, okay, I'm set up? In my case, that's not my goal, because I just don't want to die and leave my kids without anything, you know? My goal is to build wealth for them, for generations. Like Warren Buffett said, you know, millionaires' minds always think about future and generation. Poor mind always think about today or what we're going to do in the weekends, you know, if we go party, if we go on the boat or whatever. So I think that we have a lot of good things set up here in this office, and you know, you two guys joined us like a month ago, and we built a good relationship, and we are trying to keep that up as much as we can and bring a lot of more positive vibe to the team, and that's what we want. Like Jari say, life is a game, bro. It's a real game. You wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, this is the level that you're gonna hit today.
Exactly.
Depending of if you have that level of the strategy to fight through the day, will tell you if you're gonna complete or accomplish that mission that you have for the day. So what's your mission for tomorrow? What are you looking for? So what are you trying to accomplish? I think this is a good question that you need to get to start, you know, asking yourself. So for me, it's like, the better the question, the better the answer, and the better the answer, the better it's gonna be your life in the future.
Just to piggyback off of that, I completely agree. You know, it's all a game. It's a mental game. It's a physical game. It's, you know, your business is a game. Like the way you approach life is a game. You could determine whether you want to take something, and however traumatic or whatever the experience is, you are the one that gets to convert it into how you want to, you know, adjust or react to it. So I believe that it's a difficult game, but in reality, once you find the joy in the process, you learn to love it every day. You learn to wake up and literally think about what's next, not thinking inside of a box, not thinking like these are my only possibilities. Whenever you hear somebody say that they only have these little options, trust me, they haven't expanded their mindset to think further, because there's always more than one way of doing anything. So realistically, it's a game and a challenge internally as mentally. We got to go ahead and decide how we want to approach our days. Decide that we want to go ahead and make a next move and create this business and continue to grow it. And I'm sure we're going to bring you guys a lot of knowledge in certain industries that we're in, as well as other topics, that like I said, we're all human being and we're all the same. It's just some people do certain things, other people do other things, and that's the beauty of life. Everybody has a unique thing. So,
Let me take it from here really quick because I'm the old man. I'm gonna take that personal, okay? Yari, just letting you know, I'm the old man right here. So
If that's what you do in your 30s.
22, and you? 24, and Yari's 26.
I think 27.
Yo, you think 27? Even better. So let's start with the kid. What's your biggest motivation, bro? Like you wake up in the morning, what drives you?
So one of my biggest motivations itself was, me and Noel, we grew up with immigrant parents, right? So our parents came over here, and like most of these guys right here in this room, right? So my biggest motivation is definitely to make them realize, as an immigrant, person, they come with this mindset that like you're pretty much stuck in that rat race. You know what I mean? And for me to make them realize that there's something way more than just that rat race. There's something that you could build way more out there and achieve without pretty much knowing anything. You could get all the information you need. You could connect yourself with, the people that could take you there. It's just my motivation itself on a daily basis.
Good. Noel, tell me, bro.
Similar story, so our parents are both in the same case. So my driving force has always been my family. My dad kind of being the patriarch of our family left now. It just kind of is on my shoulders. And I've always, even though it's never been a given or anybody's asked anything out of me, it's always kind of been my fueling force that even though I'm young and everything, I'm running out of time, and it's not my time, it's their time. And I want them to be able to experience things that they don't think is possible. Like I was talking about earlier about the box. Similar thing is just that mindset of like, you're being dealt all these cards and you're thinking that that's, what your life is supposed to be. You're supposed to fit within these lines and go ahead and do and wake up the next day and do what you got to do. And it's not like that. You could literally do anything you want. We said earlier about the retirement in Costa Rica. If you really wanted to, you could go retire in Costa Rica and live off of minimal amount of money. Anybody could recreate that. It's just how simple or how do you want to live your life? And not everybody's going to find the same enjoyment or fulfillment in achieving certain things or anything. But that's where I say that retirement to me just sounds like, very far in my future, because I can't comprehend it yet. Right. I don't think I deserve a retirement, and I enjoy what I do. And I always feel like there's just keeping it active, keeping it new, constantly doing and overcoming and doing more things just to become the best person you possibly can be. You're going to go as far as you want to take it. So you decide how far you want to take it.
Good. Jari, so tell us or tell the people out there, because you have a pretty good story about, you came from a family that they have their own business. You was part of that business, I think at the beginning. So talk to us a little bit about that.
I don't feel like that's one thing though. So I feel like a lot of people that I look up to have a story, right? And I don't feel like I have a story, but when you kind of look at it, it really comes down to how do you express your story, right? Because everybody's story to them is pretty boring. So I personally have not developed on how to say my story because, again, I don't feel like I have a story. But pretty much just a quick recap. My parents owned an assisted living. Eventually, I was going to school for business, decided to leave that because they weren't showing me much. I was actually going to school for dentist and decided to leave that and get into business. And then I had the opportunity to take over my parents' business, took that over, did it for like a year, and I left it for 2 reasons. So I left it right after COVID, like the year of COVID. I left it like in November of 2020, something like that. I decided to close it. And again, I closed it for 2 reasons. So one was there was a cap, and I didn't realize that cap till after, right? Till the mentality changed, right? Because before I was perfect with that cap. I was telling Noel, like every single month, we would receive anywhere from like $12,000, $15,000. I'd pay the staff, see what was left over. Cool, I'm happy with that. I have $600 this week, for example. What can I go spend these $600 on? Like, it wasn't even like, what can I go invest? What can I save? How much can I save? It was literally, yo, I have $600 in my bank account. How can I bring this shit down to zero? Right. And that was kind of the weekly mentality behind the stuff. And then COVID hits. We go over, we stay home or whatever the case is. Start going to like True Leaf, stuff like that. So a lot of time at the house where I was able to think, right, by myself. And I started looking around me. So I started looking at the business that I have and seeing how it was all these viejitos, all these older people that didn't prepare exactly for their retirement. So they're living off of this little ass paycheck that the government gave them. And here they are in an assisted living where I felt like we took pretty good care of them, but the conditions at the end of the day is not where I would want to end up living, right? So I also noticed a bunch of kids having to take care of their parents during this stage. And I sat down with my wife one day, high as hell, and I was like, babe, I don't know a single person in our freaking family that I would want to be like. Not a single person that I actually know in my life, not just my family, in my life that I want to be like, right? And she was like, what do you mean? I said, well, most people, like, unless your parents change, unless my parents change, and my parents actually did pretty well for themselves, especially my dad. So my dad was investing into properties throughout the whole time that we were here. So he was able to own a few properties. So my dad's able to retire off of properties. My mom was going to piggyback off of that. And then now they split it up. So now she has to kind of figure out her way too. Like, are you still piggyback off of that? Or do I have to go create my own thing? But the point was, I saw a lot of kids that were just having to take care of their parents. And I don't want to be that for my son. I don't want to have, like, how I feel is my parents brought me to this country. They were able to get me to a certain level, right? Now, for me, that level was very confident. I've always driven nice cars. We always had a house. We always had food. If I wanted to go out, I was able to go out. So it was a very comfortable life, right? But what I noticed was, okay, they got me here. Is it my job to stay here with them and like live the same type of lifestyle? Or now do I need to go and double this shit, right? And that's what I felt that I needed to do. And it was just a huge mentality change in regards to what do I spend my time on? What do I focus on? What do I do on my off time? And just a complete mentality change. So again, I haven't perfected the story. That's not really a story. That's just kind of like a quick recap of me and some of the things that I've done. But yeah, I just noticed everybody's fucking broke, dude. And everybody's always bitching about money. And everybody's always thinking about the 2 vacations that they can take a year. If they're lucky, if not, it's just one, right? So you spend this whole year planning for this one vacation, and then you're happy as fuck for this 1 week of your life. And then you come back to misery. No, I don't want to do that. Thank you. I want to be able to enjoy my day to day. I really actually enjoy what I do, right? We help a lot of families. We deal with different things every single day. And I actually really enjoy what I do. And then just going on vacations is just a plus, right? And then I'm happy as fuck to come back to my regular life. I don't want to actually escape my regular life like most people. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh, that was a pretty good history.
Yeah, it was.
You know, like he said, he don't have anything.
He said he doesn't have any story.
Yeah, there's your story right there, bro. So you can like could have and send it to people that you wanna tell your story. It was pretty good. I mean, and especially us that came from a different country. I mean, we all came from Cuba at this point.
Yeah.
And in my case, it was the same. Like I don't have any guidance like, okay, I want to be like you or I want to be like you, like, you know, because in Cuba you don't see that. And you guys was like, you guys were like really lucky to be here, you know, in your early stage. So I came to United States at 21 years old, when pretty much everybody say, okay, you have everything figured out, you have your career, blah blah blah. So in my case, it wasn't like that. So I have to start from zero. And only that, I came from a country that they say something and you believe that until you get out.
Exactly.
So when I came to United States, then I started realizing, and it's not like this. You know, they lying to me. Like the way I see life is not that way. You know, there is different ways. There's a bunch of opportunity out there that I can start. You know, uh, yeah. I mean, that was the craziest part. It takes me like 3 to 4 months to realize, okay, damn, I have to start from zero, from scratch. Like my mentality, everything I know at that time, I have to delete it and then put in new things back again. So United States gave me the opportunity to fly, like really go out and do whatever the fuck I want. Like literally, you know. So I thank God. I thank God every day for the opportunity to be alive and for the opportunity to bring people, you know, good people around, you know, to my team, because I think I relate more with you guys. I mean, I feel like being around you guys, Yari, Noel, Jose, que está por allá atrás, helps me to improve myself every single day. Y una de las cosas que yo digo siempre que tienen que aprender los que están allá afuera, it doesn't feel like, si tú crees que tú estás like encerrado en un círculo, the only thing you need to do is step out.
Exactly.
It's just step out. Try to find that mentor. Try to find that person that you want to copy, that you want to like a mirror version of you. So tú tienes que ser capaz de tomar acción en esos detalles en la vida. And it helps it helped me out a lot. Que mi parents, okay, mi familia de aquí, que yo le llamo mi familia de aquí, son gente que tuvieron una visión. And they have their own business, their own investment, and they show me. One day they say, listen, they told me, there is 2 ways in this life to really make it. This side or the other side. There is only 2 ways. The left side, si vas a lo malo, like a robar, tarjeta, drugs, and stuff like that. And the other side is the one that you really need to freaking work your ass every single day.
That's a slower.
So you wake up every day, you need to figure out what the hell you're gonna do, but just go and do it. That's what I believe. Y por eso es que yo me levanto toda la mañana motivado, because I know every day is gonna be a different day toward my goals.
Exactly.
Pero el trabajo que yo voy a poner will be toward my goals. And try to be around people that have not the same goal, but similar goals, because 4 people will think better than 1. 10 people will think better than 1. That's what I believe.
To the same thing, I believe that you know, you got to really want it. You got to really want to do something with your life. And I am a firm believer in the theory of uncomfort. So I believe that the more comfortable you are, the less you're going to grow, because growth doesn't come with comfort. So whenever you feel like you see somebody, yeah, they're good at their job, and if they've been at their job for a little too long, you got to realize, you know, that person's reached their level of comfort. And it's going to be there until, you know, magically one day it's not there anymore, and somebody drags the carpet under their feet, and then they're going to think, oh, snap, what do I got to do now? And that's pretty much just the story of like where I come from. My parents, you know, they got to a level here after they got within their box. They had a you know, solid job, 12 to 15 years. They think they're doing, you know, just fine being within their lines. But realistically, is like that job's not safe. You know, like that job's not safe. It's mind blowing to me how it's more safe for somebody to work for somebody else than to start their own business, because that somebody else could just wake up that day and say, today is over. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And it goes. What do you got to do? You think that is safe? You know, like realistically, the safest time is when you are depending on yourself. And that's where the people that look for uncomfort, that's why the people that really look to challenge themselves succeed, and the ones that, you know, fall into that level of comfort get stagnant. They feel like there's no growth. They feel like the world's consuming them, because the craziest thing is the world gets more expensive. It's going to start consuming you. If you stay at the same level, it's going to surpass you. So if you're always ahead of the game and running like there's somebody chasing after you every time, you're never going to have that worry in your life. That's that freedom. And you're going to get it through the enjoyment of doing your stuff. You know, I wake up every day looking to what to do next. If I don't have anything on my calendar to do today, there's something wrong, and it's my fault, because I have to have this thing filled with things to do. Because as a business owner, when you're depending on yourself, you got to make sure that you know what you got to do every single day. If you don't have anything written down there, that means you're not thinking about what to do next. You're not worried about it. You're comfortable. You feel like this is it, and nobody's going to come and knock on your door and say, hey, here's some money, or here's a job, or here's anything. You got to go out and find it and figure it out. So that's why it's a consuming of your life, you know, but it's, you enjoy it.
Any of you guys remember when that switch came? Like the exactly area or place that you were at that time when you
I
said,
do.
like, fuck. Where? Tell me.
I was smoking weed in my balcony.
And how was that?
That's when so again, COVID hit. That's when I had just moved out. So I was more free to smoke weed whenever the fuck I wanted to smoke weed. And I started reading the 10X. So Johan has the 10X hat. So I started reading the 10X by Grant Cardone, which is a book that I recommend. It's not a book that I recommend for first time listeners. Like, that should not be your first book, because it fucked me up, right? Your first book should not be telling you that you're a piece of shit if you're not 10Xing every fucking day. And then that's part of why I hold myself so accountable, is probably because that was my first book. And I literally feel like if I'm not 10Xing every day, Grant Cardone just makes me feel like a piece of shit. So yeah, I was literally smoking in the balcony, reading. I was listening to the books. So I don't read, I do like audiobooks. And as I was listening to that, I literally had to pause one of the chapters and be like, wow, like, I am 25 years old and I've been comiendo vinga for the last 25 years. Okay. And out of those 25, I can only control so many years of those 25. Yeah. But I'm telling Johan, right? Like, me and Johan, when we went out to eat today, I was telling Johan, I think maybe yesterday too, I don't know, whatever other day we were talking, Johan. A lot of people go through the same shit, right? Everybody goes through their 20s, and the problems in your 20s, believe it or not, are kind of the same problems for many other 20-something year olds. The problem is that people are out there giving you their feedback, their experience on what they went through, or their solutions to those problems. And at the end of the day, it feels like their problems are different than ours just because we have a different life. Or their solution is not our solution. And everybody kind of just repeats the same problems and the same struggles till it's time for them to learn it on their own. Mm-hmm. Right now, like, I was telling Johan, like, dude, if you can, and Johan, I don't know if this was personal, so just stop me, but I was telling Johan, like, hey, Johan, I wouldn't move out. I wouldn't pay $3,000 in rent right now. You're going to realize a year later, when you're $36,000 in the hole, that, like, dude, why the fuck did I come and move out just to get some pussy whenever I want? We don't even fuck every day. Right?
That's Johnny right there. That's Johnny. That's Johnny's personal problem.
And you're like, God damn, I thought this $3,000 was going to be worth the pussy. But, and it might be, you know, all of us here have our wives and our girlfriends. So I'm not saying like you're going to go out there and start fucking different bitches or anything like that. I'm just simply saying, like, there's things in life where it's just better if you plan, right? Mm-hmm. I told you, hey, I moved out. It took me 7 months to realize, like, dude, I'm just paying somebody else's rent. Like, what am I doing? Right? And it's all fun and games. You're moving out, you're living by yourself. You feel like a big man now. Things like that. All of those stuff are natural, right? But it's, damn, let me learn from that motherfucker's mistake. Let me learn from this motherfucker's mistake. And it might be a mistake to me. It might not be a mistake to you, right? But it could also be what saves you from stopping a mistake, right? What if you would tell your girl, hey, let's pretend before we move out that we're paying for 6 months worth of rent. Okay. Let me see how you handle that. Let me see how I handle that. right? Let me not just make the crazy decision and move the fuck out, because $3,000 is $3,000 for rent, regardless of who, where, what level you look at. So, yeah, I kind of forgot how we got to this conversation again, but
So this is when you realize that there was a switch.
yeah, so the switch was there on my balcony. COVID hit. A lot of time to relax, a lot of time to reflect and look around and be like, dude, I don't want to live like anybody that's currently living. And that's my thing to Stephanie now. Like, sometimes her family writes us like, yo, when are we going on our next vacation? Yo, what's up? Bitch, all of you guys stress about money. All you guys, like, money is, we're literally what is controlling y'all's day-to-day life. You guys are consistently trading time for money. And if you guys notice, just because I brought it down, I brought it up so I can put it back down. If you guys realize the question that I put down there, that is the one question that changed my life. It's actually two questions or two statements, and this one of these is a question. So, how long can you survive if you can no longer work? If for some sucky ass reason you can no longer work and Social Security isn't a thing, like, don't fucking rely on the government. They don't want to take care of you.
Well, let me give you a little things. They say by 2034, there will be no money in the Social Security.
Yeah.
And the year before, they say by 2035.
I believe that. It's happening.
So that means that in 5 years, they're going to say by 2030. And we're going to be already there.
Yeah. So to kind of just finish, so how long can you survive if you can no longer work is a question that changed my mind in regards to, okay, I got to start buying more assets that gives me a monthly paycheck. Okay, I don't want to keep switching. I don't want to keep having to trade time, which is the only thing none of us can get back, regardless of what we do in this fucking world. One thing we cannot get back is time. How can I stop trading time for money? It's really hard. So let me trade time for money, and whatever money I can get for that time, let me go put it into something else that's just going to spit me a little. Like, if for every $1,000 that I gain right now, I get spit back a cent, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay, how many $1,000 do I need to get so that that cent can start multiplying? And
That's true.
And you can retire. And the second thing, which I believe came from Grant Cardone, is everything you have, everything you want, a stranger has.
Who got my
Everything
money?
you want, a stranger has. Absolutely changed my mentality. I was very introverted. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to go to no meetups. I didn't think this business was for me, sure as hell. I didn't want to talk to nobody, right? And when I realized, like, okay, who around me has what I want? Damn, nobody. Fuck, I got to go talk to strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally true. I've met some great strangers that have a lot of what I want. And you'll realize that the wealthier you are, the more you give back, even if it's knowledge, even if it's money. In many cases, that's the case. You do get some assholes out there. But in many cases, the wealthier you are, the more you get back. It's that simple.
That's true. I just want to say, like, I remember when I was working on Toyota in the dealership, I was out there waiting for a customer, right? And then I say, okay, let me talk to my manager just to have a conversation with him. My boy at that time, I think he was like 1 year old, something like that. I went there and said, hey, listen, man, it's a slow day today. Do you think I can go out earlier, like, 1 hour earlier? I really want to spend time with my son. And he said, no, man, we have a schedule, And he was right there scheduling a vacation for next year. I mean, just think about it. We was in 2017 and he was scheduling vacation for next year. And that he like give me, like, open my mind and my eyes and everything. It was like, this dude is he thinks he's gonna be alive. He's security that he's gonna be. He's like right there. Seguro que él va a vivir 1 año más. Like, no matter what, because he already paid for it. He said, I just paid for my vacation, 5 days in I think it was a Disney cruise or something like that. It was like $5,000.
Yeah, guys. So Kabe got disconnected. He'll be right back. Alfred, look at Alfred there. Alfred, ¿qué tú haces en casa, Noel, Alfred? ¿Qué tú haces en casa, Noel, Alfred? Estabas aquí en la parte de atrás. Aquí. I don't know. Okay, I got you.
Got me back? Okay, just really quick. He actually bought the ticket, $5,000 for next year vacation. Like that dude was like really comfortable saying that I'm gonna live entire year without anything happen because I'm gonna go to that cruise. I said, yo no quiero planear mi vida como eso. Like if I want to go to vacation, I just go tomorrow. Right? Mm-hmm. I want to be able to have that freedom because in my side is freedom to do whatever the fuck I want. If I want to go to a baseball game,
you don't gotta ask for.
I'm not gonna ask for permission. I just, por supuesto, you know, we all have a business. We talk each other and say, hey, everything is good here, so I'm gonna leave. Yeah. Pero yo sé que mi negocio va a seguir corriendo. I think for everybody out there that have a business, if you don't have that freedom, then you don't have a business. You have a job. You're freaking self-employed. You are not a business owner. So if that makes sense for you guys here.
95% of America, by the way. Business owners in America.
They're self-employed?
Self-employed.
Yeah. That's why they talk so much about you have to be part of the 5%. Who really is the 5%? Who do you think is the 5%?
Do you guys know what's made the most what's made the most wealthy people in America? Maybe on a retirement level, but it's actually businesses, guys.
It's business.
Acquiring business?
Yeah.
Not acquiring, like actually creating businesses.
Building a business?
Yeah. And just to comment on that, guys, there's too many businesses in America already, right? So you have people like us, and we're actually great examples, guys. We're all young, right? 30s is still young. We're all young. And I think that one of the messages that I would like to change from when I talk in regards to this aspect is you guys should not be going out there and starting your own business. I don't care what people say. Do not go out there and start your own business unless it's such a unique business that you don't see nobody else doing it out there, right? If you guys want to start a real estate business, why would you go out there and start by yourself? Come join me. Come join Noel. Come join Johan, right? Join anybody. It doesn't have to be us. But the point is, there are so many business owners out there that are trying to make it on their own. When guys, you guys should just be partnering up with your competitors, to use that word, right? And now you guys are joining and making a hell of a business, right? I can't do everything in my business. And a lot of people think that when they start business, it's just, oh, I'm doing this. I'm doing acquisitions for somebody else. I'm going to go start my own business. Why? Why don't you just become the best freaking acquisitions person for another business? And then maybe you become the manager of acquisitions. And then maybe you talk to the owner, and now he brings you in as a head of acquisitions, and you're making a percentage off of it. And that's the only thing you're worried about, right? You're not worried about the books. You're not worried about finding new clients. You're not worried about this. You're not worried about that. So, guys, I'm all about linking up this year. I'm all about creating teams this year. Any other business besides this one that we're creating right now, and just because of our situation, which again we probably even shouldn't be, but at this point we're already somewhat balls deep, at least one ball deep. I don't know about the two balls, but we're definitely at least one ball deep. So it's like, why go anywhere else? But if I was to leave this business and go anywhere, like if I was to go and start a construction business, why the fuck would I go and not just join Noel? Noel, where do you need help, bro? Do you have systems? I can come and create systems for you. Would you give me a percentage of your company just for that if I can prove that to you? Right? I don't have to go find the contractors. I don't have to go get my GC license. I don't have to do any of that shit. Right? So just a quick thing on that. Guys, but for future, we're probably going to cut it short because we were supposed to do 20 minutes. We're at 40. So for future references, we're going to try and pick a subject and then stick on that subject. But the thing with the Prime game is we're going to be not really all over the place, but we want to talk either about financial, real estate, or
life,
like motivation, life type stuff, right? We can all do better. Yeah, we can all be doing better at the things that we're currently doing. And guys, just really quick to end it, everybody give the audience one tip. So pretend this person is not being successful, which we can talk about like depression and stuff like that too. I feel like all of this has to do with depression, people getting depressed. I feel like it's because they're not living to the best of their ability in life, and that's why they're depressed. But that's a whole different conversation. So guys, just one tip to whatever our audience is on how can they improve if they were to implement this one thing today.
I'm gonna go ahead and start off, and my one tip, guys, is to connect with somebody, connect with a group of people, connect with. If you're looking to get into construction, connect with a contractor. And this will save you time. This will save you, breaking your head wide open. The amount of knowledge Noel could bring to the table with his construction, with his experience, that's already knowledge he could transfer to me without even me living that personally. So look how much time that saves you, between trial and error. So my tip of the day is definitely to connect and to network with good people.
Awesome. What you got, Noel?
Basically with me is I would just say for anybody feeling like they are not living up to their expectations, just look at where you're at. Look at where you're at, mentally. Look at where you're at with your health. Look at where you're at, where you're working. How do you feel? Do you feel like you have a roof over your head? Do you feel like you have a cap? Because those things will be that energy, will be that bubble that's holding you back. So if you wanted to really, go and expand the same way Yadi said, not everybody's meant to run a business because a business is extremely taxing on you. So like you said, 95% of people are self-employed. It's because for the first couple of years and sometimes their whole life, they run a business, they own a business, but they're in the business. If they're not in the business, there's no business. That's a self-employed person. You're not free at that time. You might be free to call off today or not, but every time you called off, you probably didn't make any kind of money. So if you do that often, you're not successful whatsoever. So realistically, I believe that working within a structure where you're able to grow, working like they said, if you want to go and become a realtor, you go join Home Prime Realty and make sure that you, while you're growing yourself and your values and what you're able to provide, making sure you're within a place that you can grow to another level, to move on to being a group manager, like kind of always working up towards getting a higher role. And that is success in life. It doesn't always start with running a business. I've met lots of people that went from making really good money at a job to going starting their business to downgrading their whole mentality and everything because the business was so hard. It was too much and they couldn't achieve it. And so those kind of things, aren't meant to hold you back, aren't meant to make you depressed, aren't meant to, do all those kind of things. It's all a mind change, a shift, finding like that switch that they said earlier, realizing where in my life am I getting held back? Where in my life can I make a change? And it's going to be drastic. It's going to be uncomfortable. And that's what's going to make it so much better at the end of it. Because at first, you're going to think it's the worst thing you've ever done. And the only reason that your life is going to change is because something you've never done, so you gotta go ahead and challenge yourself to really grow. And you're going to be amazed with what you're able to accomplish. You look back a year, 2 years before, you're nowhere near. Like if you're in the same place you were 2 years ago, you're not doing anything different. Your life is not going to change if you don't do anything different. I look back at myself 2 years ago and so much has changed throughout the process. And it's because I don't know if I'm impatient or anything, but I wake up every day and I get a different thought. What am I doing today? I might switch up my whole business. I'm at 6 months doing a system here. I don't like this. I'm going to go and start something new because I'm always looking to get better. Never to create chaos, but always to how can I push the needle forward, Yeah. And that's pretty much right.
Yeah, I mean, that's freaking awesome. Arian, what you got for people, Arian?
I would say that pay attention to your mental health. Take a time to be alone and think about your future, and make sure you set up your goals, your short-term goals and your long-term goals. So I would say make a 1 year commitment. That would be your goals to achieve in 1 year, and make your 5 years commitment. So that's what I did. It really helped me a lot. So, and right now, like Noel say, when you look back and you say, damn, it's been 2 years already, but look where we are right now, So, and be okay with being uncomfortable. You need to do that. So if you feel comfortable and you feel like, oh my God, is the right place for me? Maybe it's not the right place. You need to move. You need to improve.
improve. That's what you need to do. Every single day, you need to be better 1%, at least 1%. Try to be 1% better, and in a year, you're gonna be 365% better than the last year. So that's what I would say.
I told this to Abetico, and the reason I'm mentioning Abetico is because he was just calling me. So I mentioned this to Abetico sometime back. Do you guys want to know? Do you guys have any secrets for? I have a secret for if I want to know if somebody's on my same level or not. And what I mean by my same level is not my same level of wealth or knowledge or anything like that. It's just the same level of mentality. Do you guys, either of you two, have any idea what that could potentially be?
For me is when I share dreams with people and you could tell they don't even make a tick, because most things that you mention out to people, the reason, like even in like you would say like a family party, you don't share what your new year goal is because you don't want people to overreact like that person's ridiculous, or to think that goal is crazy, because that energy is going to rub off on you and think, damn, am I crazy? But no, that it might be crazy for them, it's not crazy for you. So set your goals and stick to your goals. And I would see that you're able to tell somebody's on your same frequency if you're able to share things like that, and you feel like you lose them in the conversation where they didn't pay attention because they didn't even think it was real. And I've tried that a bunch of times with friends of mine and stuff like that.
You were going to say something, Johan?
No, that's pretty good.
Okay, so for me, guys, the one quickest way in the scenario that happened with our Bedigo was, if I get in your car and you're listening to music, we're not on the same vibes. It's that simple. And it might sound stupid, it might sound whatever. If every time I get in the car with you, you're listening to music, we're simply not on the same vibes. You get into my car, and guys, the one difference that has changed my entire life is, how many hours don't we all drive? Everybody here has a car. It's America, right? You drive to the gas station like 3 blocks down and you get in your car real quick, right? So the one thing that absolutely changed my life is every time that I get into the car, I play something that I'm vibing for, and that's either a podcast or a book or a YouTube video. For the most part, it's a podcast or a book, right? If every time I get in the car with you, you're listening to Bad Bunny for the 17th time on the same day, or you're listening to these like little babies and little thingy and little that and little thotty and little thingy and whatever the case is, all these creative names that they come up with now, guys, you guys are wasting your fucking lives. I promise you, you guys are wasting your fucking lives.
Hold on, I got something to add on that. What do you got to say about me? Because I drive in silence pretty much. There could be music playing, there could be anything going on, but I promise you that I don't know if I'm wired with the same Tesla chip or something, but I'm on autopilot. If I don't have the GPS going, I don't know where I'm headed, and I'll get in the car and I'm going. I promise you that I'm not. I'm trying to answer phone calls. I'm trying to think. Process. So I got too many things going on in my head, but I don't even listen to anything.
I did that for a little while though, but the problem is you get in your head too much. So the problem for me is when I'm not listening to something, I do just like anybody else, dude. I get in my head, right? And especially if you're talking in the world that we're talking about, where you're consistently doing uncomfortable things, right? I'm consistently telling myself I'm a piece of shit, right? Hey, are you able to do this? Like, there's always doubts in my head. So I realized that listening is actually me being more productive than if I was just to sit back and think to myself. Like, you're not just spaced out while you're driving, not listening to anything. You're in your head, right? You're thinking of something, right? And meaning that's not really productive either. So it's a lot better than not listening to Bad Bunny for the 50th time through the day. But definitely start listening to something, either a podcast, either an audiobook, whatever the case is. Guys, there should always be something education on your life. Like, to me, that has made the absolute biggest difference in my life is just every time I'm in the car, I usually try and put on a book, but sometimes I feel like my head is not there to where I'm not going to grasp that information. So then that's where I just take it over to like a podcast or something, to where if I miss something, it's cool, right? But audiobooks, dude, that shit's going to change your life. That shit speeds up. Like, people have gone, we were just talking about like people going through struggles and different problems and different scenarios. And these people that write books, a lot of books are bullshit, but you have a lot of educational books out there too that will literally like skip 10 years of struggles, 5 years of struggles just to figure this shit out, right? A lot of people spent more this year on clothes than education. A lot of people spend more money on food than education. A lot of people spend more on anything, on just drinks on the weekend than education. My biggest bill this year was education. And that's something that not a single person can take away from me. It's all in my fucking head. Right? So it's not like a shirt. Like the shirts used to make me happy. New shirts used to make me happy. New swag used to make me happy. New shoes. I used to love that shit. So you walk on them for a straight week and now they're creased and a little dirty and you're like, they don't really feel good anymore, right? So everything that's material kind of goes away. And you just got to focus on the shit that stays with you. So yeah, my quick tip, guys, is stop listening to music when you're in the car and start listening to an audiobook or a podcast, and you're going to notice that your mentality starts changing. And also the people around you. The people around me this year are not the same people that were around me last year, right? One thing that my mom told me that's absolutely true, and I didn't believe her till I got old, is tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. I don't know if that's really how it translates, but it's very close to that. And it's 100% true when it comes to money. Tell me how much money your friends got and I'll tell you how much money you got. Okay. So with that said, that's enough of me talking, guys. We want to do more podcasts. The Prime game is again going to be here. We kind of talked about different subjects. I would like for us to just pick one subject. That way the audience knows, hey, I'm coming in and just listening to this one subject. But we are also doing some other podcasts for like Priya or any of these other companies that we're doing. So you guys have anything to add to the end of that, guys?
I think that was fire. It was very enjoyable, and we're going to keep this up and, hop on many more of these podcasts. We have these conversations on a regular basis, day to day. They just don't get recorded. Yeah. And so we might as well share the info because it does take up a lot of time to have these conversations and stuff like that. And we do it willingly. So might as well, share that knowledge out with other people, because sometimes we're on such, game that you speak out heat that only stays within these four walls, you know what I mean? And so it's knowledge that other people should be going out there and making a difference. And you never know when the person could hear the same sentence, 50 times before it actually sticks to them and resonates with them. Who knows if that's going to be you, So we hope to, keep this going and continue to do more things like this. This was really fun. So
yeah, podcasts are usually fun, just talking shit here. So most of my podcast guys are usually coming on here and talking shit, which is why I want to change it more towards like one specific detail of what are we going to talk today, and try and keep it within that world of whatever we're talking today. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I feel bad. And I was honestly thinking about this yesterday, which is the idea of starting the podcast like today out of all days. Is I feel bad in a way. Like, how do we spend tens of thousands of dollars on education that now we have, and the money's already spent? We already have the education. It's free to give it away. So like, not that we're purposely holding it, right? But we're not actively trying to give it away either. So changing the mindset of not that we're trying to hold back, but just of actually trying to put in the work and give some of this knowledge to you guys. Most of my friends don't know about investing. I still call them my friends because they're all my guys. Like they're my homeboys, family, whatever the case is. But every time we talk about investments or anything like that, they're just all lost. And it's like, why don't you teach me? I talk about this every fucking day. I'm not really sure what to teach you. We don't have time for me to take it to step one and start showing you the shit today. So I think that the more we do these, the more even my friends would learn. So maybe we can selfishly think about our friends, and then just the whole world sees it while they're at it. So yeah, guys, with that said, again, this has been fun. We'll do some more of these. And any last comments?
We're going to make it better every single time. Change the sceneries. We're going to make it more entertaining for you guys, and overall give you guys as much knowledge as we can. So we're looking forward to that. And at least from my end, I'll see you guys on the next podcast.
Yes, guys. Thank you guys for joining. And don't forget to check us out over on Prime Real Estate Advisors. And our website is readvisors.org. Okay. So cool. Thank you guys for the shout out. Bye.